Welcome back. I'm Nancy Novak from StampandShout.com, and it is Easter week, and I want to share with you 3 different candy holders that you can make really quick. I know Easter's just a week away, not even a week, and these are really quick and easy, and they're so pretty. So I wanted to share them with you. So I got 3 of them. We're going to do them really, really quick. They're that easy. They are quick. So let's get started. So here I have a little Hershey Nugget holder in the shape of a cross. So I made a couple of them there to show you the difference. Really cute. I like that a lot. And here I have my little flowers that hold the Ferrero Rocher. I don't know, everyone says that differently, but I think these are really cute. These are cute for Easter, but they'd be cute for Mother's Day or a shower. So we're going to make that very quick and easy. And then finally, I have my little Easter basket here, my little mini Easter basket. It's been about 7 years since I've made this, but it's just so cute. I just wanted to share it with you. This is also good for baby showers or a wedding shower. Of course, you wouldn't put Easter candy in there, but definitely a very versatile basket that you can use for many other things besides Easter. So let's get started. I think first we will do our little Hershey Nugget holder. All of these holders do not take a lot of supplies. So for the Hershey Nugget, the little Easter cross, all you need are 2 strips of cardstock. These are 8.5 by 1 inch. So I'm going to bring in my scoreboard, and I'm going to score it at 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 7 1/4. I'm going to score both of them that way. Remember, I will have a project sheet on all these projects, so after the video you can go to my blog, stampandshout.blogspot.com, and look for my project sheet, and it will give you the sizes and the colors that I'm using today. Again, there's not a lot of supplies, basically cardstock, so I'm not going to really list that you need cardstock, but you will have the sizes there, and if necessary, there'll be a couple of photos that will help you with your scoring and your cutting. So again, don't forget to look for your project sheet. Okay, so we have this scored, and one of the ends is larger. That's where we scored at 7 1/4. So that's going to be the bottom. So the way I like to do this is I like to fold the bottom in and the top in, because that's a given. That's the easiest one. Both of those are going to touch, so that's the easiest way to do it. Again, I'm going to have a picture for you to show you how to fold it. It's really quite simple. Once you do it a couple of times, you guys are going to see how easy it is. Basically, we're going to match the bottom and we're going to match the top. Those are going to be glued together. And then what we're creating is like a little C on that side, a little C on this side, backwards C. That's what we're going to create. So I'm going to have a picture of this little doohickey here on my blog so you can see how to fold it. But it's really quite simple, especially if you have that picture in front of you. So basically, I'm just creating that little area over here. That's going to be the edge of the cross, the sides of the cross. Okay, just like that. So that'll be that side. Again, here's our other one. So I got the bottom folded and the top folded in because they're going to meet eventually. We're going to glue those together. And again, we're just going to make this little, trying to think what I can call that. See how it makes a little, like a little half partial square, right? Okay, and see, that's how it's going to come together. So that's how you fold it. Once I've got it folded just like that, I'm going to kind of just enforce those folds just a little bit. I'm not really going to use my bone folder for this. Like I said, this is a real quick and easy project. I thought these would be pretty on the Easter table setting, place settings. Okay, I'm going to bring my glue in. I'm going to glue the bottom and I'm going to glue the top together. Okay, I'm just going to hold that there for a second and let it set. The one I'm making here, this is Fresh Freesia. This one is Bubble Bath. This one is Petal Pink. And this one, I think that's an old one. That's Cinnamon Cider. That's some old cardstock that I had. Okay, so that's all set. So now what we're going to do is these are going to come in together and they're going to meet right in the middle, just like that, okay? Just like that, real simple. So all I'm going to do is put a little bit of glue on those inside folds right there and there and there and there. So I'm going to put a line of glue on the inside fold. Okay, so they're all glued. All I'm going to do now is pinch it together, and then I have to hold it for a second and let that glue set. So you just pinch it, hold it together for a little bit. Eventually it's going to stick and it's going to stay. Then we're going to tie a piece of white twine around it and tie a little bow. Okay, so it's stuck really quick and easy. So I'm just going to bring some twine in, and this is going to kind of reinforce it and hold it together a little bit better. So I'm just kind of tying it around the center, looping it around the center a couple of times. I just went both ways. I didn't do anything fancy. And now I'm just going to tie a bow. Okay, so there's your cross. Now let's do the nugget. I'll show you what to do with that. So I have a strip of designer series paper, and it's cut to 1 inch by 3 inches. Then I'm going to bring in my Hershey Nugget, and I just wrap this around and adhere it with tape. So let me get a piece of tape. So I have a little piece of tape there. I'm just going to wrap this around the Hershey Nugget, just like that. You know, when I make candy holders, I think they're so pretty, and I really enjoy making them. But you don't want to fuss too much, because pretty much people are going to tear that candy out and throw it away, right? Unless they really like your style and they like to keep your things. So I'm just going to put a glue dot under there and attach it to the bottom of the candy, the bottom of the Hershey, and that's going to hold it in place. And that's all there is to it. Isn't that just adorable? I just love them. So you could make them in the same color, you could make them in different colors, but they really are pretty when they're standing up straight. And I will have a photo of this on my blog, a nice big photo where you can see what they look like. So that's your first project. So I hope you like that. Let me know, leave me some comments. Okay, next up we're going to make these pretty, I guess these look like roses. This again is very, very simple. I'm going to have a piece of cardstock that is 3.5 by 3.5. And I went ahead and I cut out a leaf for the bottom. The leaf dies that I used are the autumn leaves, and I used the double leaf. Let's see here. It's right here. I used that one right there. And I also cut out a little circle. So I punched out a little, this 1 or 1.25 inch circle is big enough. Okay, so we're going to score on this. Let me bring in my scoreboard. Okay, so 3.5 inch square of cardstock, and I'm going to score it at 7/8 on all 4 sides. Next, I'm going to score at 1 3/4 on all 4 sides, but I'm only going to score up to the first score line. So when this is in front of you, you definitely will know what you're doing. You'll see that little score line, and that's as far as you're going to go when you're scoring. So 1 3/4 on all 4 sides. Okay, now I'm going to bring my paper snips in, and I'm going to cut out the 4 corners. You can just follow the score line and cut out the 4 corners. Okay, now we need to round the corners. So I am using Stampin' Up's corner rounder from years ago. I'm not sure how old that is. And I'm going to fold the flaps in so I have room, and I'm just going to round the corners really quick. And then I'm going to fold these in so I can have room to round those corners. Okay, so all the corners are rounded. Next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to cut up on these middle score lines up to the first score line. So those are going to be our little petals. So I'm going to bring my bone folder in, and I'm going to give these, everywhere I did the little rounding, I'm going to just give it a little bit of a curl here with my bone folder. Okay, just like that, nothing fancy. Now we're going to glue these. And the way that you glue them is, I like to do them all the same. So I like to take the one that's on the right, and I'm just going to put glue on the bottom triangle here, the bottom right corner of the petal that's on the right. That's how I like to do it. And I do them all the same way. So I'm just going to put a little bit of glue here in this bottom area. And then I'm going to fold it closed. I'll show you on the next one before I glue it how you fold them closed. Basically, you're just matching the edge down to the score line. And then you have to hold it a second, let that glue set. Okay, so let me show you on this one. I'm going to glue it in a second, but basically I'm just folding it and turning it so this edge goes down to the folded score line, just like that. And once you have it in your hands, it's really easy to manipulate. It's nothing too hard, real quick and easy. Okay, so there's your little rose box. It's cute, isn't it? Then you have to kind of fold back these little edges a little bit more. We curled them once, but they still need a little bit of help. And let me just point out, you do need to be careful with that glue. You want to keep it really down on the lowest possible area so it doesn't pop through when you get your rose all done. I think I glued a little bit too high on some of these. And another thing is practice on a piece of white paper, like a piece of white cardstock, something that, you know, that's not going to be your best paper that you have. Again, you're working with a 3.5-inch square. So I made a couple first before I made my final one. But that's basically how you do it, just like that. We're going to put our candy in the middle. It's so cute. So you just have to play with it a little bit. Like I said, the trickiest part is the glue. You don't want to get too much glue too high on those petals. So next thing I'm going to do is I'm just going to put a little bit of glue on my leaf and attach it to the bottom so it shows. Then I'm going to put a little bit of glue on this and attach that. That just kind of covers up the bottom, makes it look more finished. Again, you have to hold it till your glue sets. And there you go. Your little candies. Aren't they cute? Your little roses, your little flowers. Just something different. I thought those would be pretty for Mother's Day also, don't you think? So I hope you like that project. Try it out on some practice paper first so you know what you're doing. But again, it's so simple. You're going to love it. Okay, now for our Easter basket. I love this one. This is very popular on my Pinterest and on my old YouTube video. But I thought it was time to make it again because I just think they are so cute and very easy. So again, I'm going to have the project sheets on my blog, so don't forget about that. I'll have all of the sizes. I'll have a few pictures to help you see where you need to score and cut your lines. But it's very, very easy. Okay, let's make one in bubble bath. So this is a 6x6 piece of cardstock. And then I have for the handle, this is 8.5 by 1/2 inch. And then I have my designer series paper, and I have 6 of them, and they are 5 inches by 1/2 inch. And I want to make my basket with the pretty dotted DSP showing through. So just keep that in mind, and when we get to that point, I'll tell you the little trick. Okay, so we're going to bring this in, and we're going to do a little bit of scoring. Okay, I am going to score this at 1/2 inch, 2 inches, 4 inches, 5.5 inches, and then I'm going to turn it, and I'm going to do the same thing again. 1/2 inch, 2 inches, 4 inches, 5.5 inches. 1/2 inch, 2 inch, 4 inch, and 5.5 inches. Okay, so now, while I have my scoreboard out, I'm going to bring in my little strips of designer series paper. And again, I said I wanted the dotted the dotted image to be on the outside of my basket. So I'm going to flip it over and I'm going to score it at 1.5 and 3.5. And it really helps to score it with the opposite side up. So 1.5, 3.5. When you're scoring your designer series paper, don't push too hard because it is a little bit thinner than cardstock. Okay, here's my little template, and again, I will have a picture of that on my blog for you. So what this is showing you is these dark lines are cutting lines and all the little dashes are scoring lines, and the X's are going to be cut away. Okay, so that'll be on my blog. So first thing I'm going to do though is I'm going to cut up on the 2-inch and the 4-inch score lines, and I'm going to cut all the way up to the first or the second score line. Okay, I'm going to turn this around and do the same thing. So I'm cutting on the 2-inch and the 4-inch up to the second score line. Next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to cut away the corners. So there's a rectangle, a square, and a rectangle. So I'm cutting out that entire edge, that entire corner. Okay, and that's what you're left with. So I'm going to go ahead and bring my bone folder in and give these all a good crease. These outside tabs are going to go the opposite way. They're going to be folded down. Everything else is going to be folded up to create our little basket. Okay, so we got a little basket started. That's what we have so far. So what we're going to do next is we're going to bring these outside tabs in, and we're going to adhere them to the inside of this middle tab. So you can do that with tear and tape, or you can do it with glue. I'm going to use tear and tape. So I'm going to flip our box over. I'm going to put a piece of tear and tape on 2 of the little tabs, the outside tabs. Then I'm going to put tear and tape on all 4 of these other tabs here, these ones that are sticking out on the edge. Okay, so we have tape on all of the 4 tabs and then 2 here. So now I'm going to create the box. I'm going to remove this tear and tape just off the sides, and those are going to go on the inside. I'm just folding it up and letting them meet. You don't have to be too fancy with it, just want to make sure they're even. And the same thing here. I'm going to remove that tear and tape. There's the tear and tape. I'm just going to fold this piece in and have them meet evenly, so we create our little box, just like that. So I've not taken the tear and tape off of these tabs yet, okay? So the next thing we're going to do is we have 2 tabs that we need to bring up and meet, and those we can put tear and tape on or glue. And since we're doing tear and tape, I'm going to go ahead and put a little tear and tape on here now. Again, you could put glue in there, but not on the tab, just on this whole square. But this is going to be enough to hold my basket together. So I'm going to remove that tear and tape. Fold that up to meet. Okay, there's our little box so far, right? But now we're going to make it pretty with that designer series paper. So let me show you how to do that. It's really easy. So we bring our designer series paper in, and remember we scored them all on that opposite way, which by doing it on the opposite side, it kind of gives them a tendency to fold in the direction that we want. Just like that. Okay, so we have all of our little pieces here, and what we need to do is we need to put some tear and tape on these. You can put tear and tape on them before you score them, or after, it doesn't really matter, but they all need a little piece of tear and tape on the side that's not going to show through. Okay, so each one of our little tabs has tear and tape on each end on the opposite side that we want showing. Okay, so now we're going to bring our box in, and again, we're going to give it a little bit of glue, a strip of glue on one edge. You can take all your tear and tape off at once if you're going to do this, or one at a time. I'm going to take one off, show you what I'm going to do, then I'm going to go and take all the other tear and tape off and just put the box together. Okay, so I got a bead of glue. I'm going to put this piece right at the edge. And again, those fold lines are perfect to help us match it up. And then I have that tear and tape. I'm going to hold the bottom, let that glue set a little bit. While that glue is setting there, I'm going to go ahead and put my other pieces on. So I'm going to do three first, and then I'll show you the next step. So I like to put glue on each edge and then one down the middle. Okay, so I'm just going to let that glue set a little bit, and then I'm going to do it the other way. So I'm going to go ahead and take off the tear and tape on all three of these pieces. And then I'm going to put my glue on each end and one down the middle. Okay, we're going to let that glue set just a little bit. And when you take the tear and tape off, I mean, you don't have to take it off like I just did. You could take it off now when you're ready to do the next step. That's just something that I did. Either way, it doesn't matter, but you want to make sure that you give this glue time to set so the strips don't move around on you. And then the next thing you're going to do is, now that you have that sticky tear and tape on there, is we're just going to kind of curl this up, and we're going to make it meet, but about 1/4 of an inch below the score line. But you really want to make sure that your glue is stuck on the bottom. So again, I'm just putting it down about 1/4 of an sorry if I was outside the camera. I'm laying these strips down about 1/4 of an inch below that score line right there. And then you want to make sure that this piece right here is glued down. Like I said, if you let the glue sit for a while, it shouldn't pop up on you. So you're kind of giving it a little curl, but it's about 1/4 of an inch down. See, there's my score line right there. Let me show you. Right there is my score line. So I put them about 1/4 of an inch down below, and it gives it a little pop up there. I just want to make sure that glue is stuck at the bottom. Okay, again, just make sure that glue is set. You're going to have to hold it a while. You can't rush it. But see how it's got all these little the DSP makes that pretty little bubbled look. Isn't that pretty? Then we just take this tear and tape off of this little flap and fold it down over our DSP strips. Just like that. Okay, so all 4 corners are down. It's really a sturdy little box. You could put a weight in there if you want to make sure that the bottom is glued and smashed down good. But I think it's just fine. So let's bring in our handle. Just give it a little bit of a curl here at the top. And then I'm going to put tear and tape on the edges, on the bottom edge, just to hold it in place. And the tear and tape goes on the outside edge. And this piece goes all the way down to the bottom of our box. So I can use this little strip to help me center it. So I have about a 1.5 inch piece of tape on there. I think the hardest thing is getting the backing off of this tear and tape. Okay, I can use that Designer Series strip again for my centering. And I'm going to make sure it goes all the way down to the bottom. So the tear and tape again should be about 1.5 inches or so, because you want to kind of make sure it meets up here at the top. So I just made a little bow and attached it to the side. I could do one on both sides. Let's bring in some Easter grass. I'll do the yellow. And bring in a cream egg, put it in there. Or you could bring in the little Hershey chocolates, whatever you'd like to fill it. There's your little Easter basket. Now, it takes a little bit of time, of course, to make it, but I'm telling you, when you're done, it's totally worth it. It is so cute. And these are very cute on your table. So there's your Easter baskets and our little flowers and the little Hershey Nugget crosses. So what do you think? Are you going to make these? Are you going to make any of them? Let me know. Leave me some comments. If you have any questions, reach out. I will definitely help you. And let me know which one's your favorite. That's all my videos for this week. I will be back next week with more inspiration and fun ideas for you. Until next time, don't be shy. Stamp and shout.